In a world filled with fear and doubt, one man, Jason Rumble, will change the course of events. It's Being Humble with Jason Rumble, now on YouTube. Now introducing the bad boy of Boston, the alpha dog, Jason Rumble.
Hey everyone, it's episode number 5. It is me, your host, Jason Rumble, and this week on Being Humble with Jason Rumble. He's an owner, he's the promoter, he's one of the boys when it's all said and done. He has done some of the biggest tours, independent wrestling-wise, not only in Eastern Canada, but in all of the professional world. He's not only a friend, he's just like a brother from another mother. At this time, it is my privilege to bring in my guest this week on Being Humble with Jason Rumble, Mr. Devin Shiddick. How are you, buddy?
I'm doing good, man. How are you?
I'm doing all right. You know, it looks like you are back to being the 110% Devin Shiddick, the ass kicker, the person who took the wrestling world and the world virtually by the balls itself. I'm glad to see that bright smile back on your face, and looking good,
One step at a time, brother.
I can see it, man. As a friend, not for nothing, if we'll get it right out of the thing that we really haven't talked since the show that, that basically got postponed. And I'll never say canceled because I believe that one day.
Not about
I believe that one day you will come through with your fruition. It may not be the biggest show known to earth, but I know how much professional wrestling matters to you, how important it is to you, how in ways, shapes, and forms it's destroyed your life, it's helped mold your life, it's helped make you into the person you are today. Maybe you don't think you're the greatest of all time, but you're talking to one of your brothers, to most of all a friend. I believe you are one of the greatest of all times. You've overcome many different things in life. And to come to full circle, I know one day you will make it to have a Wrestling Hall of Fame to put these people that came before us, the reason what made us want to put on the boots, put on them trunks, hop in the squared circle. I know one day that these people will be etched in stone. I know for a fact. I know this will happen one day. The wrestling shows don't have to happen, man. The history is what is there. It will always be. You'll go down as the best, in my estimation. I tell people all the time, you are the best wrestling promoter, when motivated, that Eastern Canada has ever saw, man. So I believe that the world, there's a reason why we didn't talk. There's certain things that needed to, maybe I felt I failed you on one end because as a business partner and as your best friend, I should have noticed a lot of these things. And I'm glad that I have you in my life. I'm glad that I have you on my show today. And if things were to start up tomorrow, you know for a fact that I am a soldier, that I'd be right there with you, marching back into that ring and marching to do these things only the way that you can do them. So I want to let you know that right here, I say this, that I give you that I'm sorry I helped drop the ball. As a friend, I should have noticed these things. And I'm just glad to have you today on my show. And to all those people out there, I know that you're going to make this happen one day, man.
Thank you, man. I appreciate it. Nothing's ever over.
Yep, that's right.
Just like that quote from Rambo, nothing's ever over.
That's right. Can you tell us just a little bit about how much pressure was on you to realistically to cancel the show? Or not even just cancel it. How you know what I mean? Knowing that what you've done promoting wrestling, how hard was it? And
there wasn't any pressure from anybody to cancel it. Nobody actually put it in my ear that I should cancel it. I made a lot of mistakes. I was way overconfident. My ticket prices were way too high. I talked to Mike Hughes about this, and he's like, "Dude, he's like they're way too high." He's like, "They should be a fraction of that." He's like, "Not that the show's not worth it, but he's like, those prices are really high." He's like, "I'm not sure you're gonna get it." So I made a lot of mistakes there, but there was also stuff, as you know, going on in my personal life, and I got cocky and I got overconfident, and I thought the show was going to sell itself, and I wouldn't have to put as much work into it as I have in past shows, and with all those intangibles combined, the ship sunk and ticket sales were in the shitter, and when the ticket sales were, we only sold a handful of tickets. And then I started to get scared. We were like 5 weeks out, and the sponsors weren't coming in like I anticipated they were.
Yeah.
I decided everything was going to come to me, I guess, and I didn't have to work as hard as I did in 2010 when I did the other expo. So between overconfidence and dealing with some personal battles, it just wasn't going to happen. So I was my own worst enemy in several fronts, and
yeah.
it would have been it's the greatest show that didn't happen. But like you said, like it's never. It may not be the biggest show in the world when I do it again, and I mean, I'm only 42, like it's not over yet, and because I canceled that and because I haven't posted anything on Facebook in 9 months on the business page, everyone thinks I'm retired and that it's over and that they can think it all they want, but not once did I make an announcement say that I'm done.
Yeah.
I've been working out steady since this pandemic has happened, and I'm actually 210 pounds now, and I'm eating healthy, and I'm juicing.
I know. I'm
with my juicer, and I feel like since I've been juicing, like I feel great. Like I feel like night and day. Like it's like night and day. And I mean, my mental struggles and battles aren't completely over yet. But like I said, I've weeded certain people out in my life that I had no choice but to. It was either that or end up in the graveyard. So yeah, I'm trying to get back on track, and I got my daughter here with me now, and it's my house feels like a home again, and yeah, we're redecorating. We've been redecorating the past 3 days, and yeah, I feel pretty good. And nothing's ever over. I got a bunch of projects in the back of my mind that I'm still going to implement this year. And we're actually supposed to do. We had 2 shows actually lined up in April. This past April, we had Doolittle's lined up for the 23rd, and we had Digby lined up for the following day on the 24th. Of course, those got postponed because of the COVID thing. And we're supposed to be in Digby next month for the Lobster Scallop Days thing, or Lobster Bash Carnival. But I think that's on hold too, obviously. So I had like 4 or 5 shows lined up, and they all got kiboshed because of the COVID thing. But I mean, yeah, none of it's ever over. So
I planned on being there this
I
summer.
tell people all the time, even though I canceled that major show.
Yeah.
I think the best years, honestly, promoting wise, are still ahead of me.
I think so. Why not? Why not? I think me and your lifelong buddy there, Adam Jack Pelly, talked last week on my podcast, and he believes that the Beauty Slammers thing was started now. That
big difference.
The difference that would be.
Especially because the women's scene is so prominent now, if not the dominant, and especially WWE has brought that right to the forefront. Oh yeah, if we did that today, it'd be a whole different ballgame.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
And I would have been a lot smarter too, as far as I would have chosen a better investor.
Yeah.
A lot of things would be different. Like hindsight's 2020. Like if I would have done that tour today, and knowing now what I know then, as far as the mistakes I made back then, be a whole different ballgame. It would probably be a steady promotion.
Yes.
But you live and learn, right? Mistakes are fine as long as you learn from them.
That's right. There you go. How can you learn from anything if you don't fall down?
Yeah.
I've
fallen down probably 100 times, but I've gotten back up 101 times. So
there you go. Well, it's good to see that everything's going right. I know one thing, that one of your Canadian buddies misses going out for karaoke and wings night. His name's Adam Jack Pelly. Maybe you guys can have a quarantine get together reunion of wing nights and wing night and whatnot. I know he'd enjoy that a lot, man.
Yeah, we're gonna do that. I had to take care of myself first.
I know that, man. I think that's one of the main reasons why, I'll be honest with you, that I kind of distanced myself through certain things, uh, was just because I knew you would find yourself realistically, and maybe some of the things that I might have said to you might have been redundant, and some people just get sick and tired of hearing the redundancy. But I can tell you this, man, if you had ever fallen to the biggest pits of hell, I would have been one of the first people that would have been knocking on your door. So I had my updates on you. I followed you on Facebook. I knew what was going on. I knew it would be before time that one of the most dangerous men when motivating known to man, and his name is Devin Shiddick. I said that you're the only person that's got bigger balls than Vince McMahon on numerous occasions. And like I said, I knew the train would get back on track. I knew we'd get to this level again, and once everything is rolling and we're back to wrestling and we're doing things, like I have ideas right now. My ideas right now is I think that I'm sick and tired of renting buildings and giving people my money, where I'm probably going to take the United States brand of VCW, and I'm going to turn it more into a studio. And I'm going to do something like where I used to do in Everett and in Wakefield, where I'm going to draw my own in-house crowd, and I'm going to utilize that platform. And I know there'll be people that will want to come to work. Will they be the biggest of paydays? Maybe not. But people will make sure that it's not a waste of time. I'll make sure trans is taken care of, and everybody will work off the door. You know what I mean? So if we can get 50 people to come to the event, and say 75% of that goes to the boys, and the other 25% of that goes to the building itself, and then I'm hosting my own little wrestling seminar, so to speak, for I'm thinking of taking the company into a different perspective, especially since the pandemic thing. You know what I mean? There may be buildings that aren't willing to say, want to rent like independent wrestling to a certain extent could be lost with this social distancing thing and gathering quarantine, things of that nature. So,
I've got some ideas too, where I think we can alleviate building costs, and I'm not going to mention them here in case anybody scoops them on me. But
yeah,
I've got some really good ideas too. That as soon as this whole thing ends, where we can do, you need. I don't want to run them now just for the sake of, I don't want to have just 20 or 30 people in the crowd. Like, they're like Gangrel's doing a show at his asylum this weekend, but there's only 25 people allowed in the building though, and they all got to sit some place. But that's great though. But he has to do that because it's already booked and the talent's already booked. But he does charity stuff too, so what he's doing is a whole different thing. But
see, there's a way you can dictate your influx of the people that are watching online. So you can sell with a good enough camera, with a loop. You can sell the HTML with for $10.99 or $9.99. So even though you might have 50 people inside your little studio, you can have 300, 400 people watching all over the world and pay $10.99.
The streaming is where it's at now.
That's what I'm saying.
People can sit home and they don't mind spending $5 or $10 to sit there and
that's right.
watch a quality wrestling show from the comfort of the room.
So yeah, I'm thinking of taking my business, my side of the VCW venture on a different perspective. Plus, at the same point, when you're able to shoot, so to speak, out of that studio background, you're able to actually build better characters, and you're able to build a better product that once it's seen, people that follow the VCW brand itself, no matter what country it's in, can be like, oh wow, that's a really good production aspect. I want to go see that show live. Maybe the production quality, as far as the glitz and glamour, isn't well, but let's just face it: the people you book and I book on both sides of the border do not really fall far from the apple doesn't fall far from the tree.
Yeah, for sure.
So it helps on both ends to a certain extent. Plus, when these kids on a young basis, as well as I do, watching these shows, they see the lights, the glitz, the glamour. They're kind of more prone to do it to almost for free, just because they want to be part of that, the ambiance and the feeling.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I think there's a whole new. I think this pandemic has opened up a whole new, door of opportunity to things that have never been tried before.
Yeah.
And this is like it's got our wheels turning, and because now we're at a dilemma, so we have to find a way to use some ingenuity and find new ways to create markets that weren't there. Maybe embellish on some markets that are already there. So
Yeah.
there's tons of stuff we can do.
Yes.
So yeah. So the next I think 6 to 8 months are going to be really interesting as far as what different promoters are going to try to implement to get that fan base back and get the product back to where it needs to be. So
Yeah.
it's going to be fun, and it's going to be fun sitting down and just tossing things at the board and creatively and see what's going to stick, right?
Yeah, yeah. Could you see like the WWE ever morphing into, say, like a virtual audience?
Well, what I said when I very first heard that WrestleMania was going through
Yeah.
in front of an empty arena, I said, in this day and age, the first thing I said was, why do they have to necessarily do it in an empty arena where they can take digital boards and surround the ring and put a virtual audience there,
Yeah.
right? Whether it's a fake or real, you can create a digitized audience and make it look like it may not be the exact a real audience, a real thing, like they may not be sitting right there in person. But I mean, how cool would that have been?
There's a company in China right now that
That
is realistically that there are, because of this whole Japanese baseball and Korean baseball, there's a company in China that right now is creating a database that can put me or you in the ballpark.
Yeah.
But it would be emoji style, because what they want to create, they don't want people getting naked and flashing their wang on TV. And they would give you 12 to 15 catchphrases that would be recorded. And each one of those, so to speak, screens would kick out a decibel known to man, and that would go through generated PA. It was actually talked about, WWE, I found out that it's funny you say that, the WWE had talked about doing this, and that's what came up at their board meeting. They go, what happens to the first guy that decides to jump up in front of his camera and his peck is sticking out and the guy has a camera sticking to it?
Yeah, that's the only thing. There'd have to be some kind of they'd have to produce some kind of software to.
It has to be a computerized emoji where you say you take a picture of your face with hands, and it can do like different movements.
They'd probably be cool. Even if it wasn't us wrestling fans being filmed live or live to tape, why couldn't you just take one of their past audiences, but then control which emotions they show?
Oh, that would be cool.
It might be fake, but I mean, it would have gave the viewer so much better experience from a fan's perspective instead of watching WrestleMania. And it would be cool for us watching it from home, seeing a digital audience in the background. Yeah, I can't believe they didn't do it, actually.
How about dubbing in just live feed from multiple people without the visual part? But you could pay, say, as a fan, the WWE fan, on Monday Night Raw, you can just start yelling into your computer, and then they utilize that, and that would be kind of cool.
And it would sound different too, because you've got a million people watching, and they just have a voice recorder on the television.
Yeah.
Every time there's a high spot or one of the fans pops, they're going to say God knows whatever. So then you get a whole bunch of people in unison all around the world from their living room going, oh, wow. So it's boom, boom, boom. It's the same thing, but it's from their home, and all the audience hears when they're watching it on their television is they're just getting all that audio.
Yeah.
And then why not have a fake digitized audience in the background, but yet the real voices of the people at home? Yeah. The possibilities are endless. That's why WWE hasn't done it yet.
Well, what's cool is there's a KBO team called the NC Dinos, and what they did with 200 seats behind home plate, they sell a cardboard cutout of you in a uniform with a sign up or whatever you want, and you got that seat for the whole week of games. And they sell 250 seats just behind home plate. What they did this week is they took stuffed animals for this week's games that they had home. And you had SpongeBob behind there. You had Mickey Mouse, Minnie Mouse, and they filled the seats, 250 seats behind home plate with stuffed animals. And you paid, it was a person paid to have that stuffed animal there. So it's like you being part of the, like, it, you know what I'm saying? It's kind of cool.
That's a great idea. That reminds me when I was a kid, I used to do the action figure events. My whole audience was animals.
Yeah. Like, man, that would be kind of cool. Like the WWE sells a cardboard cutout, and it would be within weeks, and they put your cardboard cutout in the stands.
Yeah.
With the sign.
Yeah.
And then you could pump in legit crowd noise from all around the world.
Yep. In all different
$20 to picture if they said front row, your cardboard cutout, $50. There'd be tons of marks that would want to put their.
Sure.
You know what I mean?
And not only is it creative, but there's an extra stream of revenue for them.
They're gonna listen. They're gonna need every sport, no matter if it's wrestling, football, baseball, basketball, but especially wrestling. They don't have all this mainstream like advertisement where like the MLB got Coca-Cola and all these things. You know what I'm saying? Especially think of AEW, brand new product on TV. They still pay to be on TNT. How's a company now that has taken some of these WWE guys that are off a contract? I don't understand. How can things survive?
I have no idea. Well, I mean, number one, the owners got deep pockets, so I don't know. And they're doing some different stuff too, like that stadium match they did at that pay-per-view. That was totally unique and different.
Yep.
So Chris Jericho said it was one of the best matches he's ever had. He's never done anything like that in his life, and it was totally different. Like nobody's ever done a stadium match, but the stuff they're doing, like they worked that match as if they were in front of 10,000, in front of fucking 30,000 people.
Yep.
Like it was crazy, but things are different now. Like people are doing, people talk about that graveyard match that Taker and Styles did at WrestleMania.
I think that's a staple for the Undertaker for the next few years.
I think so too, and I don't think that I've seen comments on Facebook and stuff. People think that every match is eventually going to be like that or should be like that. No, it doesn't. It's I think you said it, where that's another novelty wrestling type match where it has its own place and time. It shouldn't be the whole show, but why not throw a match like that in here and there? Because at the end of the day, like Vince has been saying since forever, what we do is make movies.
Yep.
That's essentially what a wrestling show is. So it's a mini movie.
Yeah.
A story's being told on a canvas. It's 18 by 18 foot square. So this is just another form where it's taking what he said and it's actually making it literally a mini movie with Taker and Styles. So, but like you said, like if Taker does have a couple more matches to do, then why not do them all like that?
That should be the staple right now of his last matches. You know what I mean?
That's his character, and it fits his character.
Oh, it does so much.
Well, he's supposed to be a dead man, so.
Did you get to see the Adam Cole versus Velveteen Dream matchup, the parking lot match?
No, I didn't. No, the last time I heard anything about Velveteen Dream was where he was. Remember the rumor that was going around that he was up on charges or something for that?
Yeah, for sending his nude pics out to little kids.
Yeah, but apparently it must have got squashed because he's back there. So.
They had it was a good backyard match. I liked the way it was shot. Everything was in the dark except for the people around the ring. It reminded me of like one of them old 70s, 80s gang wars, like Warriors come out and play. And the ring was just surrounded in mean vehicles with headlights, with people in it. It was real good.
Like WCW did that. Remember WCW on Monday Nitro that time? They did a match. It was supposed to be like like a junkyard.
Yeah.
Fit Finley and a bunch of them in it. I did see clips of the Matt Riddle. Who do you work in that cage?
Oh, fight. Buddy, that was a great match.
Buddy got his teeth knocked out.
His name's on the tip of my tongue. Matthew
Yeah,
Timothy Thatcher, I believe his name is. He's a
whoever
He's a shoot fighter.
two of his teeth, did Riddle knock two of his teeth
He
out or
knocked two of
something?
his teeth out. Yeah.
But I heard it was great. I seen clips, and I didn't watch the whole thing, but I've seen clips of it. People were saying it was a great match.
Oh, buddy, the
Um,
idea of the cage that they put around the ring with no ropes, it's like blood sport meets UFC. It's
So
a very
you know,
good concept.
yeah, very yeah. So there you go. They're trying new stuff already.
Well, they're stealing it from what's his name there? Josh Barnett did two things like that with no ropes, and he called the Bloodsport Expo or something like that. Josh Barnett's Bloodsport.
Oh yeah. Harry
No
Smith.
ropes. Yep.
Yeah,
Little, I believe, was on the first one, or that guy Thatcher was on one of them.
yeah.
Yeah, if you get a chance to watch the match in the full entirety, it's good. There's a legit, they're about 7 feet off the ground, and there's a legit scaffold that's probably about 3 feet wide that's totally on the top, that they fought on top. You could bump off it. I loved it. It was cool. Like, if there was ever a way for a tournament, like a Tough Enough, and they used it, it would be great.
Yeah.
You
I got
know?
a couple. Yeah, I got a couple ideas. I'll talk to you in private about that. I want to kind of like touch on that kind of in a.
Oh yeah, brother, I'm ready when you are. I'm ready. I'm glad that you're you. You can see it in your face. I can't wait till all the people who see this, yeah. Keep the gray going, man. It's the wisdom, buddy.
Yeah, it must be. I had it died in March, and then some girl posted on Facebook the other day, just in general, made a general comment about guys out there who have gray in their beards. Let it go. Signed, a grown ass woman. Like, wouldn't die anymore. I'll leave it. I like it. I don't mind it. You should have seen it a couple weeks. It was out like Pelly's. It was like it was out like this.
Quarantine beard. I know mine was until 2 weeks ago.
I take care of it. I groom it well and take care of it. I keep the beard bob in all the time. But I did shave it off a couple of weeks ago because you have to every few months to let the air get to your skin, right?
Yeah.
I don't mind it. No, I can never picture myself without a beard now.
So, let's get to the chase. What was the first tour that you promoted?
First tour I promoted was in 2002. First one I ever did. I did 6 days on the road, and we brought in the runner-up from the first season of Tough Enough, Taylor Matheny. Yeah. And it was called the Totally Taylor Road Trip, and we sold out all 6 buildings. First time I ever did a tour in my life.
Wow.
Yeah. And had it in Quincy Valentino and Jeremy Martel and Flex Falcone were on that. Those were 3 guys who taught me like so much because I was green. I was green as shit. And they kind of like held my hand and kind of taught me more about the business than I learned from my trainer at the time, and of course
let the people know who the trainer was at that time, just so they know.
My trainer was Peter Faircloth.
Yep.
He was an independent wrestler from Ontario. He went by different names. New Scott just asked me about this the other day because someone was doing a documentary or something in maritime wrestling, and he went by Joey. I forget what his last name was. The NWA came here once to the Halifax Metro Center back in the 90s. Only once because it was WWE territory. But NWA came once. The main event was supposed to be Ric Flair and Lex Luger, but Luger no-showed, so then it being Ric Flair against Hawk of the Road Warriors. But Peter was on that show, and he worked Bam Bam Bigelow in the opener. And so he was my trainer. That was in 1999. I looked like I was anorexic. I got the piss beat out of me for 6 months straight. And not that I didn't learn anything, but I got beat up more than I was shown stuff. But I get it. He was extremely old school. He made students cry just verbally, just breaking them down with his words. But I appreciated it and I liked it, and I came back. But yeah, he was my trainer. And then when I started my own company right off the get-go from scratch, in 2000, I did 1 show a month in my hometown of Sheet Harbor, and I had it all planned out how I was going to spend it. I told myself when I started from day one I was going to spend at least a year in Sheet Harbor doing 1 show a month until I got the guts and experience and courage to run out on the road and start doing actual tours. And then come 2002 in April, I booked that 6-day tour and brought those guys in from Ontario. and with some local guys that I broke in with at the same time. And like I said, the tour was a success. Every show was sold out. Kingston was sold out. Muscatine was sold out. Um, East Hants was sold out. Curly Portables was sold out. Digby was sold out. That was Digby. We drew like almost 400 people. So yeah, that was my first real tour, and then every spring and summer thereafter for the next 15 years, we did at least I think the smallest tour we ever did was 5 days, and that kept, and as you know, it kept going up, from 6 to 8 to 10 to 12 to 15 to 20 and eventually 32. So,
Yep. Almost 5 weeks out on the road.
yeah,
Over. That summer we did the split there. There was 2 weeks, go home, and then we was on the road for a month.
Yeah, there was Nova Scotia, and we took a week off. Not even a week, I don't think.
Yeah.
And then we did Newfoundland. Yeah, and that was record breaking. Nobody did that since the 70s.
Now, why do you think Eastern Canada doesn't take a chance anymore on going over to Newfoundland?
Nobody would take the risk.
Yeah.
Why does nobody do it today? It costs a lot of money here in Newfoundland for one. The travel alone is so expensive. The fares to take the ferry right now over there, they're double what they used to be for walk-on passengers plus vehicles. Hotels, gas is the big thing. But it's coming. Somebody's going to do it.
Yeah. It would, I guess, in a way, shape, and form, you probably have to be friends with someone on that island to almost work with you.
Yeah.
Keep some of the costs down, like rings and that nature.
I got nothing but time right now, so
yeah,
I can take my time and put something together. So it's coming.
I think knowing people over there that you can instill and trust to a certain extent is the number one thing.
Yeah, you get them trust you.
Yep. True.
Well, no, I still got a handful of helpers over there who'll be willing to help us out, and then use that as a platform too to implement some of the new, sort of introduce some of the new ideas I have. So
yeah.
Once the world gets back to semi-normal, that'll be
now,
one
what
thing.
was your first introduction into professional wrestling?
WrestleMania 1 was the first event I ever saw, March 31st, 1985. My best friend at the time, Johnny Monroe, brought a VHS tape over. His family was big into wrestling.
Yeah.
And he brought a VHS tape over one day of WrestleMania 1. And I don't know what it was. It was like a drug. I was like hooked instantly.
Yeah.
The characters and caricatures dressed up in outfits and the music and these were like comic book characters come to life. And I was instantly hooked by Hulk Hogan, and that was it, man. Like in my whole life, every day after that was just, I woke up, it was wrestling. I went to bed, it was wrestling. Everything. If there was a school project to do, it was, if some way I was allowed to incorporate wrestling into it, like literally it was wrestling my whole life from 7 years old right to, right up until recently. So
yeah,
drove my friends and family half crazy, but that was my first introduction to it, and it was an obsession. Like I was a huge nerd in school, like while everyone else was like 15, 16 years old going to a party, and I was stuck in my room with action figures and Saturdays. Yeah, man, I didn't even touch any substances until I was 17. I didn't touch anything. It never interested me.
Yeah. What's funny is a lot of people have been putting their like old school figures that only people our age would see, like the AWA action figures.
I've got them. Oh, you know what? I sold that. No. I still have the Remco. I still have the AWA Remco figures of the Fabulous Freebirds. There were I could get like Scotia Soul. I wouldn't sell them to him. I don't think I sold them to him. I better check. I don't think I sold them to him. Fuck, I hope I didn't sell them. But yeah, man, I still got all the, like, at the time, I used to try to collect everything.
Yeah.
Like fig novelties, T-shirts, pendants, everything, posters, everything, magazines. I had 3,000 magazines, all on plastic with backing boards, some back as far as the 60s and 70s, and everything started to get mass produced, especially by the time the 90s, mid 90s
Yeah.
came around. And then I'm like, I can't collect everything. It's impossible. I can't afford it for one, and I have no room to put it. So I sold probably 2/3 of my collection, and I just had to make a choice whether I was going to get rid of everything or just limit it to a certain few items. So, as you know, I just now collect Bret Hart action figures and anything kind of like Hart family related, and I pretty much got everything there is. But even some of that stuff, I'm gonna have to. Well, I'm not gonna get rid of it yet, but and then I've got a whole collection of almost every Benoit figure that was ever made still in the package. I'm probably gonna sell that as a whole set. I've got every Bret T-shirt ever made. Still buying them. I just got this today from Pro Wrestling Tees. So
I like that. It looks like what you call it, Bart Simpson face.
yeah,
I love
it. I just bought like 30 new T-shirts for this COVID thing. I got an online shop. I have like 30 shirts, man. Yeah, that's how I was first introduced to it, and I was, and I never had any plans to be. I really never had any plans to be a wrestler. I just wanted to promote, and I should have just stuck with the promoting early on. Looking back on those tapes now, like Jesus Christ, I was like 130 pounds, soaking wet with rocks in both pockets. I really had no business being in a ring back then, but it was a learning experience again. But I should have just focused on promoting, and I wasn't a bad promoter backing up when I first started. But I feel I would have been twice the promoter. I don't think I would have took the Nervous Breakdown in 2009 had I just focused on promoting that Newfoundland tour and not have wrestled. But I was trying to do both at the same time, and that was like sort of like the catalyst that got me. I should have just focused on promoting, but and I was always and I was burned so many times over the years before I met you, especially, where I was reluctant to take anybody else on, as you were.
Yeah.
And I didn't want to take anybody on, but I knew that I had to. It was either delegate some of this work, and let some other people wear the hats that I was wearing and kind of share it around the room, or I was going to end up tits up. The business was going to go tits up. So
yeah. Well, I still take to this day very prideful that people will come up to me and go, Jason Rumble, oh, you help promote in Canada, huh? And I go, I got my ways to get into Canada. So I can tell you that it has done very well for me helping you out. And it's always been my honor and privilege. I've always enjoyed it. I still do to this day. Like I said, if you was to tell me tomorrow, Jason, I need 5 people, 6 including you, and this is when I need it done, and this is the price I can afford, let them know what the deal is. I'm going to be there.
Well, it's good to know, because somebody told me when I was going through when I was battling those demons a while ago, somebody had told me that you said, well, if you ever does start up, the bastard's not using the VCW name anymore. I said, that's fine. I got my own name lined up.
Well, whoever said that.
I didn't blame you. I didn't blame you.
Yeah. Well, can I tell you, obviously people are going to say things and hear things from a different nature. But I can tell you this, that Adam Jack Pelly is the first to have heard that when you were up and running, I was the first one to say, listen, when I talk to him and I look at him eye to eye and I see him and I see the person that I want to see, I'm going to be there for him. Because I know when I look at that person across from me, the real Devin Shiddick, the guy that, is the motivated professional businessman, not just a wrestler, not just a promoter. You're a legit businessman. And like I said, when you are on your top-notch motivation and you're on that line, there's nobody more dangerous than you.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
I'll always be there, man. But like I said, as a big brother, I just felt in a way, shape, and form that, after a while, people get sick and tired of hearing the same rhetorical thing on what makes their life better. After a while, those people just say, you know what? I know what's wrong with me. I know what I need to do. And then it's all from there, man.
It was a combination. It was a combination of I needed to learn to stand up on my own 2 feet. And I mean, even my best friend, like you, for example, you can put the paintbrushes in my hand, but you can't make me paint.
Yep. Well, I knew it got weird when I had one of your ex-girlfriends reaching out to me and going, "Is he all right? He's in a dark place. He's saying some things," and I knew things. I knew things were beyond the point of realistically me being able to say any of my words.
Right. Yeah. It
That
wouldn't have
if
probably
you were
really.
shutting people like that off, why the hell are you going to realistically listen to me? To a certain extent, you know what I mean? And like I said, you may have been drowning, but now you're back on the beach. Hair's pulled back, beard's looking beautiful, face is nice and filled out, and you're back to being you. You know what I'm saying? And I'm appreciative that I'm able to have you in my life, on my program. Most of all, I could care less about wrestling, to be honest with you. Our friendship is the most. Like I say to Pelly, I have very limited people that I will invite to my bungalow to go fishing with me when it's all said and done. And you're one of the 5 people that's on my hand that I will always want at my dinner table. I will always want at my home to be part of my life, So I'm glad that you're doing great. I know that we're going to do good things, you know what I mean? Because we were sitting there at a Beauty Slammers tour, and both me and you said that we're going to be sitting back in a chair one day, and we're going to be watching our daughters wrestle in that ring.
Yeah.
No?
Maybe you're done. I'm trying to. I don't know which direction Darian's going
in. My daughter wants to wrestle.
I know she does.
But anyways, let's get. What was your favorite tour?
Oh, well, that's easy. That would be the second time you and I took Honky Tonk Man to Newfoundland in 2007.
Okay.
Hands down. The Nova Scotia leg was great. The after parties were insane. By the time we get to Newfoundland, it just everything just totally amped up. I think remember the time we did like in Marystown at 11 o'clock in the morning. We did like a 3-hour shoot interview with Honky drinking. He was drinking like 11 o'clock in the morning, and we just kind of like snuck the video camera over, and Grimes hit record on it, and we held him there for like 3 hours, taping him to like 2 o'clock in the afternoon. And yeah, man, that tour was epic. Just not just the matches were great, but the touring with a legend who was not a big shot or had no ego, and he was willing to share his bed with the boys, and it was just awesome. The whole trip from top to, I think it was like I don't know what it was, 8 days, 12 days. I think with Nova Scotia included, it was like 12 days or something like that.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I would say that one for sure. Yeah, definitely for that one.
Non-wrestler, who do you think is one of your most unsung heroes that helped keep your company going? Non-wrestler that is an unsung hero that helped keep your company moving.
Non-wrestling.
Yep. Someone that if you didn't have this person, maybe the ring might have never got up.
Oh, Wiener, for sure. Yeah. Well, I wouldn't consider him non-wrestling, but yeah, I get what you're saying. Oh yeah, 100%. Oh god, yeah, 100%. He made life so much easier. He didn't like me very much when he got drunk, but man, if we didn't have him, you're right, man. That ring never would have got set up.
Yeah.
Yeah. Good old Wiener, man. He was
That's right.
he was right there for the after parties too.
What was your least favorite tour?
My least favorite?
Yep.
Oh, my least favorite tour. Least favorite. As big as it was, probably the late spring of 2006 when I had Chris Hamrick in for the second time, and I tried to run every month, and found out that the market wasn't ready for that yet. and we didn't make money, and I lost a lot of money. The Beauty Slammers wasn't my favorite. I had a lot of heat with the girls and stuff, and it killed my morale, and kind of it's that really hurt my spirit a lot.
Yeah.
I was on the verge of a breakdown there. I was very sick in the Brunswick leg, and it wasn't from drinking or anything. I knew it was a nervous breakdown coming, because it was the same way I felt when we did that Labrador leg of Newfoundland.
Yeah.
And I had to go to the hospital, and I felt the same way. So, and I knew it was nerves, and I knew that, I think subconsciously I knew what was coming in the final day.
Yeah.
Half the dates had already been canceled, so I knew what was coming in the final day. And nothing was. Emotionally, those two tours weren't great. Those weren't great. But but again, I think too, not to toot my own horn, but I mean, that's testament to my survival mode. I could have packed it up in 2014, and let it go.
Yeah.
And I could have packed it up in 2007. I could have packed it up in 2009, but I didn't. I kept going, and when you got passion for something, you can't just turn the switch off, right?
Yeah, I know that.
And I learned from all of them too.
Yep.
And then, I think you and I had a talk, and I said, maybe the thing is not to do these big folding tours anymore.
Yeah.
Just start, just continue selling shows and keep it at sold shows. So even the nightclub shows now, they're sold.
Yeah.
And the shows, at the military bases and the First Nations communities, they're all sold. So I'm, and I tell people all the time, I'm not 20 anymore. I'm hitting my mid 40s, so I can't afford to work off the door anymore.
Yep. I don't blame you.
I can't take those. I'm at the point where, back then it was okay to take those huge risks. I think most of them are calculated risks, but risks nonetheless. But I can't work off the door anymore. If I can't sell a show, I'm not gonna do it.
Who do you feel was some of the? Give me 2 to 3 of the best people that you faced in the ring. Not necessarily have to be a best match, but just gelled well.
Sarah Stock, top of the list, number 1.
Yeah.
Top of the list. She was. We all know, anybody's seen her, even had a chance to lock up with her. She was just cream of the crop. She was the top. I've wrestled her probably, I think 26, 27 times. The best match I ever had was against her, in front of a sold out venue over at Reflections Cabaret in Halifax. Other than that, Chris Hamrick and I, the first time we ever tied up, that match was voted as the Maritime Wrestling Match of the Year in 2005. Hamrick, Sarah, Sidewalk Sam and I had great matches. The best match probably we ever had, or the hundreds of matches we ever had. The best one was probably a match we did for NWE in Miramichi, New Brunswick. That was the best match I ever had.
Wow.
And probably you would be the top 5 would be Chris Hamrick, Sarah, Pelly, you, and Mike Hughes.
Yeah, love working with Mike.
Me and Mike Hughes had some great matches.
Who were some guys you just really never enjoyed getting in the ring with?
Seaman White, who's now Vince Austin in the Viking Rage. Vince Austin in Alberta. He changed his gimmick, so he's a Viking now. I think today we'd have an okay match, but back then, neither one of us were fit to be around each other, and he had his demons, I had mine, and I think that we had heat as soon as he got here. We had heat, and which is funny because I let him board with me at the same place I was boarding at, and I'm sure you heard of that infamous match where he was high and I was drunk, and we had this abortion of a match, and he picked up a steel toolbox and smashed it over my fucking head.
Oh, jeez.
Oh yeah, man! It turned into a shoot. We get into a fight in the ring, and that was unfortunate. Who else? Was there anybody else? Nobody that really comes to mind. I think I had good matches with most of the guys I've been in the ring with. I think so. I had really good matches with Legion Cage.
Yeah.
I had really good matches with Too Damn Hype, who I think is the best Newfoundland wrestler to ever come out of the province. Yeah, I don't think I always look forward to wrestling big guys too.
Okay. What was your first impression when you first met Jason Rumble?
I thought he was a pothead.
Yeah.
I didn't know how bad of a pothead until when you were on the road with me. But back then, I had a whole different perception of marijuana too, right?
Yeah.
Like
a lot of people did. I called people out on it. I tell them if I had grown up during the medical ages where doctors wanted to give kids handfuls of drugs, I would have been in that line. I have ADHD. I have hyperactive disorder. I used to tell people if I am not on my prescriptive medication, which is nowadays legal in a lot of places, you might not want to wrestle me.
Yeah.
Because I mean, as people say this, but like, I really do. I don't like crowds. I'm really not. As much as I am a people person, is as much as my anxiety flows. So I feel wanting to wrestle me and being at my comfort level, the naiveness of realistically knowing, like, let's just say there were just so many times in my life I was more of a teenager when I would grab and, partake to be like Cheech and Chong and be like, yeah, man. As an adult, it was more or less the guy that went to the packy, bought a 6-pack of beer, put it beside him, and drank it. Now he's just driving down the road, and he's him. I tried to tell people that was me. That you probably would say, hey, tell him to go the hell out back. And if he ain't got any, I'm going to get him some because he's intolerable.
It's funny that we... Actually, no, the first impression was...
I've always tried to explain that. Like, you know what I mean? I've always tried to... And you know me, I've never really been a drinker. I tell people I've probably bought my first apartment when I was 17, 18 years old. It was just to be cool to put a case of beer in my fridge. So when my buddies came over, I was able to offer them a beer.
I was just going to say...
It wasn't even necessarily for me.
I was just gonna say you were never really a beer drinker, so it's funny that we get along so well.
Yeah.
Only you and Scott Savage were the two guys who didn't drink.
Yeah.
But they became really good friends with both of you guys. But actually, no, the very first time I met you was on Sunny's show when he ran Rampage Pro Wrestling in Maine.
Yep.
And I was sick as a dog, throwing up at the flu. And on my final day there, I said, well, I can't go home with at least having one match. And I said, give me that. I said, give me Jason Rumble. I said, I seen him in the Mark magazines, and I said, if I'm going to learn anything from anybody, it's probably that guy, because everybody else was like out of shape, and not that I was one to talk, but I mean, I was there to learn. And no, I knew you were all business. You handed my ass to me on a silver platter, and that was good. I'm not complaining about that. So that's when I knew, like, you were all business, and you were, but you weren't an asshole. You were respectful in the back, in the locker room, and you were always just, for somebody who never drank, you were.
That's why people who are amazed when they would go and work out with me, and they would see my workouts, and they'd be like, I can't believe you smoke weed, like, and you do what you do. And I would try to describe to them, I'd be like, it doesn't do to me what it does to other people, like, legitimately, unless I'm legitimately, my brain knows that I'm sitting on my couch and I can veg. My brain and my body has been able to tell me that I needed to, in all honesty, in certain acclimates of my life, that I've needed it to, to cope with my own anxieties. I am so obsessive compulsive, it is retarded that, like, there's just certain things, and it's my pet peeve to people people believe in it at certain times. It takes a certain people that has an open mind that understands. When you get to know me, you would be like, there ain't no way. The guy is just way too motivated. There's just way too much energy in him.
I could never.
No way. There is just no way. And they're like, well, you don't want to wake up and see me first thing in the morning. Then I'm worse than the Energizer Bunny.
I tell people all the time. I tell that story to people all the time that don't talk to Jason. Jason's like an old lady without his coffee in the morning. If he doesn't have his weed first thing in the morning, don't even look at him. So, but you could hold it. Like, see, that's I didn't know much about it back then, but obviously you could hold it well because I never knew you were high on marijuana. I never knew when you were. I didn't know clue. So,
well, I had one kid that refused to wrestle me one time, and he was naive to knowing what it was. And the promoter goes, "No, you don't understand. The kid's a trained professional. You don't worry about it." That kid, until the first 3 minutes, I could feel him shaking in my arms. I was like, "Kid, don't worry about it. You're in here with the trained professional." Other people go about life different ways. Just so happens. But either way, let's get back into a little bit more. I'm going to get to my sponsors real quick, and then we'll get up to wrapping edition number 5 of Being Humble with Jason Rumble. Shout out goes to my producer extraordinaire, Mr. Lupe Soto. If you need any video packages made, Lupe Soto Productions, look him up on Facebook. Next shout out goes to my sponsor, Bold Coast Smoke Shop. Right, located in Machias, Maine, Route 1 for the finest in THC, CBD, edibles, tinctures, things of that nature. Go on and visit Megan Prescott and Jason Prescott. Say what's up to the twins. Once again, Bull Coast Smoke Shop, located on Route 1, Machias, Port, Maine. A shout out goes to Neil Day II and to the best streaming TV service known to man, Pappy's TV service. Over 3,000 live television stations, 10,000 video movies on demand, over 2,000 TV series, all at your fingertips for a low monthly subscription.
Okay.
That's right. All you need is really good internet access, a Fire Stick, Samsung TV, an Android device, and you go visit Neil Day II on Facebook. Pappy's TV, look him up. Rumble to Rumble is your code to receive a free 24-hour viewing of his product. Last but not least, shout goes out to the Campfire Grill, located on Route 302 in Bridgeton, Maine, for family-friendly dining. A full kids menu. We have all types of cocktails at their luxurious bar. There is an outdoor cocktail area to enjoy your beverage. That is right. They are open 12 to 7 for takeout, and they are doing some social distance dining at this time. Once again, the Campfire Grill, Route 302, Bridgeton, Maine. All right, everyone, we are back to wrap things up on Being Humble with Jason Rumble. We got a couple of questions left for my buddy, Devin Shiddick. So, what's up and what is next for the on the real side of it? I've seen that you're into the whole hair side. Is that barbering school, beauty school? Do you plan on opening up your own little shop, working for somebody? Or are you going to put this into your gimmick the next time?
I don't think I'm going to put it in my gimmick, but it's definitely something new that I've tried. I enrolled in the course back in January. Of course, we went to New York City for the International Beauty Show, which got canceled once we got there. So we pretty much got a 3-day all expenses paid trip to New York for free, which was a blast. One of the best times I've ever had in my life. I don't even know how I got here. I just needed something to fall back on when the wrestling days came to an end. I thought this might be it, but now, of course, the world's completely changed, and we have no idea when we're going back or what's going on. So I don't know. So I'm actually opening a couple of e-commerce businesses within the next couple of weeks. couple online stores, and I have broken into the business of breeding purebred Persian cats.
Well, did you get enough cat?
I have I have a short-haired exotic Persian coming next Friday,
Oh,
and
wow.
I have a rare black and white male coming August 31st.
Oh, wow.
So and that's it. Done. That's it.
You're
as
gonna
far
be a
as
cat breeder.
yeah. So I got 2 more coming, so I'll have 3 in total, and then probably start breeding 10 months from now or whatever. So, but yeah, I've been studying that almost daily, watching tutorials, reading, and getting tips from Teddy and stuff. And so yeah, I'm preparing to get that ready. And actually, me and my daughter are kind of reorganizing the house and stuff. And we got a little cat room over here we're reorganizing today, and got some pictures to put up, and
Oh,
some
wow.
little cat accessories and stuff to get ready for the new edition coming next week. So yeah, I just bought a short-haired exotic. It was $1,200. So yeah, got a few little projects on the go to keep me busy until things go back to semi-normal, or the new normal as they're calling
Yeah,
it.
yeah, yeah.
Um,
Now the beauty school, are you learning to be a barber, or is it just strictly on the female side of things?
it's hairstyling. So the class itself is called cosmetology.
Yep.
And it's predominantly hairstyling. You can choose whether, I mean, some people have the option whether they want to. I mean, barbering's incorporated into it, but
Yep.
there's not a whole lot of barbering covered. But I'm focusing more on women's cuts, and I mean that's where the real money's at.
Yeah, yeah. Coloring the whole 9 yards, man.
That's what I like to do anyway. So one of the things I'm actually really good at. The first time I've ever done it actually is foils. So I did really well on my first foiling job, and yeah, it's fun and different, and it's certainly different being in a classroom with 8 females every day. But it's definitely it's different.
Yeah, but can I tell you something? Females is one of the things that's your addiction to. But the best part is that you're in a class environment with all these women, and they have scissors and straight edge razors. So, you kind of want them to be your friend.
I'm glad they didn't have those tools at their disposal in New York. No, I was good. I was a good boy. I behaved myself.
Well, I'm glad that the smile's back. I'm glad to see the old Devon Shinnocks back. I'm looking forward to when the borders open and you can hop in the car and come and enjoy a night or two at my house and sit with the family. And
I was just thinking to myself when I was at this store this afternoon when these borders open up, because I want to get back in the ring, and I haven't been in the ring since July.
Oh, wow.
Definitely.
I know Kelly and Dana, as soon as it opens, they're not even just they're coming just to hang out. Dana discovered some cool places the last time he was here. He went and shot all types of guns and Dana, you just give him some places. He took off for the whole day. I didn't see him until 2:00 in the morning.
He's a hillbilly hick anyway. So.
Oh, he loves it. He loves it. So they plan on coming as soon as the border opens, man. If you want to hop in with them, you're more than welcome.
Yeah, I'll probably definitely do that. So I get somebody to look after my cats. Get somebody to look after the cats.
Yeah, man. Bring them with you.
Yeah, well, I don't know if I'm bringing 2 Persian cats over the border.
So anyways, the last thing that I usually tend to ask on the show is, when it's all said and done, how do you want to be remembered?
It's the hardest working independent promoter in Canada.
Awesome.
Somebody who stood tall in the face of adversity and never took no for an answer, and took the biggest risks and had the biggest balls out of anybody. I might not have physically been the biggest, but I think I had more drive and ambition than any promoter I've ever met. And I think a lot of guys will tell you that too that have worked with me. I remember in 2010, it was the night before the Bret Hart Expo, and Turk Selleck and I just did an interview for ATV News, And we were walking back to the dressing room to do something. That was like setup night. And he starts laughing, and finally we stopped laughing. I got him to stop laughing. I asked what was so funny. He's like, I just can't believe this. I said, what? He's like, no other promoter that I've ever worked with or that I know would be crazy enough to take on this risk. He's like, I know what your expenses are. And he's like, just everything. He's like, I just can't believe that nobody's got bigger balls than you. Nobody. He's like, I would have never taken this risk.
Some of my best matches came with turn
Did it?
7.
When he was not gimmicked up the night before.
That my match with him that night at the Expo was.
Well, no, that night was good. Yeah. When he was doing it, when he partied a little bit too much in Newfoundland. I remember the match you guys had in St. Anthony, Newfoundland. After St. Anthony, you're telling him in the dressing room. He's blown up, and he's like, Rumble, what the fuck? He said, what? He's like, I felt like you kind of swallowed me up out there. Like, dude, can I tell you? Every match we have, the matches we have that are good, you didn't go out the night before and get all fucked up. He's like, the nights you get fucked up and we have to wrestle the next day, those are the matches that are the shits. This is one of the stories.
Yeah.
We'll have to have an episode down the road, which is road stories.
Yes, buddy. Yes, big time. This
episode, some of them still pop in my head to this day that I forgot about.
Yeah, right? Man.
Someone will remind me of them. I'm like, oh yeah, I forgot about that one. Because I'm writing my book now, so I got to put these things down, right? So yeah. I've forgotten a lot of them, the majority of them.
Yeah. So how can, if the people out here, this is a way to promote yourself, how can people get in touch with Devin Shiddick, whether or not they want to find out about your upcoming wrestling tours? Maybe they might want to book you. Maybe they might want a haircut when you're done and graduate from beauty school.
I'm just on 2 platforms at the moment, Jason. Instagram, it's Devin_Chiddick.
Plus the kitty cat business.
Oh yeah, and my cat my cat has her own Instagram too. It's Persian_Tora, Tora. Mine is Devin, DEVIN_Chiddick, CHITTICK, and Facebook Devin Chiddick.
Yeah, and I want to let you know that this has probably been the most subliminal background that I've had, for the fact of having Michael Jackson above your shoulder and what's going on in this world, man. I'm not even being serious. Everybody, if you want to make a change, it's the man in the mirror, baby.
Exactly.
And that's right there. That has been a subliminal sign. I want to save that for the very end because I don't really want to touch on all this stuff that's going on in the world because I realistically believe that everybody has set themselves back to being barbarians. And once we all wake up and smell the coffee, smell them roses, it all reverts back to the king of pop singing a song that was released over 20-some-odd years ago. In order to make a change, it's the man in the mirror. And that is the best well said that anybody can do. And that's where me as a citizen of the United States, a man of this planet Earth, that has been my 2 cents.
Yeah,
Michael Jackson, man, the best thing that you've had. It has been a fun and incredible time getting to catch up with you on Being Humble with Jason Rumble. You did not stumble. You did not mumble. You didn't fumble. You answered all the questions from Jason Rumble. Devin, I greatly appreciate you being on Being Humble with Jason Rumble. I wish you the best. And I just hope that I get more positive news from your feeds. And, you know, it's good to see that you're there once again.
Yep. I'm here, brother. I ain't going anywhere.
Well,
I
greatly appreciate it, man.
Thank you, man. Appreciate it.
All right. To everyone out there, we'll see you the next time on Being Humble with Jason Rumble. My guest this week, Mr. Devin Shiddick.
Thank you. Take care, guys.